She will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands.
Nerdrotic.com.
Hello. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. Sorry that took a minute. Had to restart my machine, reset the modem. Hopefully, things will be just fine now. I'm still running on a very unreliable computer that's going to be fixed pretty soon. So, what do we... somebody brought up in the chat, hey, 2 Nooners this week. And yeah, 2 Nooners this week. There's supposed to be 2 Nooners a week all the time. And there hasn't been for quite some time because my life has been in limbo. My entire family's life has been in limbo, and it's kind of jacked my schedule for good reasons. But that's something we're going to discuss a little later with the channel update. Very exciting news coming up. The Texas move, the CalExit, the very long CalExit is finally reaching like the third act. And I'm very happy about this because it was a long time coming. God, it's a long time coming. And we found a house that we think we like. There's one little problem with it that it's not a little problem. It's kind of a big problem. But if we can work out that big problem, then yeah, Mrs. Nerdrotic might be flying out to Texas, and this thing might be happening quicker than I thought. There's that. And we're also going to, because I know the Marvel stands are going to love today's title, Will the Eternals Flop? And, you know, the definition of flop is a movie doesn't make its money back. Usually it has to be pretty disastrous, though. It would have to lose, you know, tens of millions of dollars to be considered a flop. But what's, you know, the very definition of a flop is a movie doesn't make its money back. It's not successful. It also has a lot of outlying circumstances. It could be critics trashing it too, not necessarily. Critics have loved movies that have been absolute flops. And there's that whole banned in China thing that might be an issue. I know there are some who said that Disney is not offering these films to China. That is not true. All of these films have been China only lets a certain number of films in. And I'm absolutely sure when they set out to make the Eternals that they intended on it being released in China because of the director. Turns out the little remember the term bed buddies? The Disney's bed buddy China has turned on them a little bit. There's a couple of new rules that might not let the Eternals be allowed in China. And there's what Chloe Zhao said, which wasn't wrong. It's not anything I disagree with. It's one of the few statements she's made that I don't disagree with. She also threw America under the bus, kind of in the same statement, although her film is being allowed here, and the content won't be edited for another country. So there's that. There's the ingratitude of Hollywood and the general ingratitude of this nation, which we're also going to talk about a little bit. That's also the kind of the theme of my next video that's coming out, my Leaving San Francisco video. The Chapelle Effect is facing its strongest opposition in a very few, I wouldn't even call it a community. I would call it a activist mob, not a community. And you know how I feel about that word. It's a commie word. It's a Marxist word. We like to use fellowship around here. And we'll discuss that. And we'll discuss some of the people defending Chapelle, and we'll discuss some of the people who are defending Chapelle were the same people who let the wolf in the door. And now all of a sudden they're worried. And I figured something like this would happen. Because the Orange Man Bad party is over for now. And we are way past the hangover stage. And now Hollywood and entertainment in general, comic books, games, are seeing the consequences of 4 years of screeching Orange Man bad, demonizing half the country. And people got kind of sick of it. Big surprise. People got a little tired of being called ists and phobes and Yahtzees, and they decided to just spend their money elsewhere or not spend it at all. We're seeing a lot of change. It's going to take time. Like I've said before, like many have said before, it's going to take time. But we have to change things. We do. Because if we don't, well, I don't think we want to go down that road yet. I don't think it's necessary to go down that road yet, but I could be wrong. Yeah, and Batwoman, the Batwoman saga, the scandal, is just getting more entertaining. So the CW, the known for its quality, Feelings in Hallways, is backing Dougray Scott, formerly known as Doug Ray Scott, who I've been calling him for years. I've never seen that name before. I just like to call him Doug. The man who, like, every time you mention Hugh Jackman's name, probably has like a little aneurysm. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. Sup, everyone. Brown Gaijin is here. Brown Gaijin. Geek Tripology. Eric K. and his wrench. Bastard and his wrench. The Good Old Guard. Gun Rage 27. WG, what's up? Doba Fett. Keck 44. Phoenix Tangent. Hello, Megan. How are you? Marco. Just another red shirt. Carol. Greetings, Carol. Oh, did anybody see the Tiger King 2 trailer today? I'm not saying you're the same one. I haven't watched Tiger King. And I don't have a good reason for not watching Tiger King. I've always been upfront with you guys. The reason I didn't watch Tiger King is because everybody was watching Tiger King. So I'm like, no. I almost felt the same way about Squid Game. I'm glad I didn't. So maybe I'll go back and watch Tiger King now that everybody's done watching it. But watch the trailer. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of Florida meth heads. Maybe I didn't watch it because, I didn't hang out with people who kept wild animals or anything, but I did hang out with a lot of meth heads, and I know what it's like hanging out with a lot of meth heads. Think Seventh Circle of Hell, but worse. Yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah. Who else we got here? Clobbering Times. What's up? SM. Is that SM or S and M? I'm wondering. Mila. Stan Lee is here. My God, from heaven. Stan Lee. God, Stan, what you went through towards the end of your life was horrific. And that's Hollywood. The vultures are always circling. Poor guy. Was used, abused. Yeah, and there's a Kyle Dunnigan clip that I want to play, which is just freaking hilarious. It's Sly Stallone's favorite things. I'm sure some of you saw it. I just shared it on Twitter. And hail Stan Lee. We miss you, dude. We miss you. And Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is a name you're not hearing mentioned at all. We're leading up to the Eternals. And you don't hear his name mentioned at all. I watched 3 hours in prep for another video I'm doing. I watched 3 hours. I'm prepping for my review this early, but I'm going to do another video. So I watched 3 hours of the red carpet live stream. I know the Eternals is about, it's different, it's diverse, and it's about family. Don't know anything else. You know what I didn't hear? Jack Kirby's name. I only mentioned once. And diversity was mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 times. In one. That's just one red carpet. The word different was used 10 times, and the word inclusivity was used 7 times. Jack Kirby mentioned once. Not by the director, not by any of the actors, not by Kevin Feige, by the producer. And he was full of shit. He said, we're gonna adapt Jack Kirby's vision by race and gender swapping all the characters that nobody knew about, changing the costumes, changing the leadership of the team, changing basically everything about the team, and not putting any of those visuals that we know are related to Jack Kirby. Clobberin' Times is going to know what I'm talking about. Those vivid 4-color. I mean, Jack Kirby, when I was a kid, I didn't like him. I didn't like his art. I didn't understand it. When I grew up, I understood the guy was a visionary, an artistic genius. His stuff should be in the Louvre. And he could produce a lot of it. I mean, you see the comic artists today, a lot of them are slow. They're slow. And that shows you, and because it's not easy to make this stuff. I understand that. So that shows you how just brilliant this man was. There will be no other like Jack Kirby. So let's take the one movie that could be a love letter to the guy who helped build Marvel, who helped build these billion-dollar franchises, helped build DC too. What was that? What was the most popular thing in the Snyder Cut? Was it Darkseid? Yeah, Jack Kirby. So Darkseid, Thanos, the Eternals, it's all stuff that came basically from Thor, right? So Jack Kirby, I don't know this for a fact. I just suspect. Jack Kirby read Eric Von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. Maybe even a little Zachariah Sitchin, the 12th Planet, because there's a lot of that stuff in the Eternals, freaking the Fourth World, the New Gods, Thor. It's all there. Little snippets of it. It was really big in the late 60s and early 70s. That's where the whole ancient astronaut stuff started. Got to meet Eric Von Daniken, by the way. Very nice man. Love that guy. Yeah, so they are going to, I guess, do a little bit of that in the movie. But that's what inspired Jack Kirby. But the Eternals were just an offshoot of an offshoot of an offshoot. And it's a book that got canceled. And they didn't even finish up the storyline until much later in Thor. And I know there's going to be a lot of Eternals experts now. There's going to be, Eternals scholars out there. As you may or may not know, I owned a comic shop for 10 years. I barely knew about the Eternals, and I didn't even read Jack Kirby's Eternals till I bought them much later, right around when Neil Gaiman took a shot at them. There's a giant celestial standing in Golden Gate Park. That's about all I remember. I remember the series sold pretty well because Neil Gaiman's name was on it, but that was about it. John Romita Jr. art, which just wasn't right. It wasn't right for the Eternals. I like John Romita Jr. He got like really loose later on, though, real loose and boxy, kind of like Frank Miller did. So there'll be a lot of Eternals experts who will know everything about them. Listen, I knew next to nothing, and I would call myself a pretty big comic book fan. It would be an opportunity like Guardians of the Galaxy to have this clean slate and bring people in. But what not many people know, that Guardians of the Galaxy did have a template. It wasn't just James Gunn. He actually had a comic book to base it on that I highly recommend to people. It's a series that came out in 2000 and I want to say 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that. Really good series. I'm actually sending it to Mahler so he can look over it and we can talk about it on Real BBC. So, and there is a template for the Eternals that they just didn't use. Their template is diversity, diversity, inclusivity. And the actors were going off and off that were, I can't pronounce his name, but Harold and Kumar. So Kumar, love Harold and Kumar, by the way. Freaking one of my all-time favorite movies. Kumar came out and said, basically, I'm paraphrasing, this is the first superhero team that looks like the world. Just dissing everything that came before. And we all know what diversity means. Less white. Why don't they just say that? It's less white. It would be more honest. It's a lot of that language, words like diversity and community. That's Marxist language. Why are we hearing it so much? Well, there was an article today on Bounding Into Comics, and this is something like a bunch of us have talked about for a long, long time, so I'm going to have to reset it. Are there government connections to Hollywood? Well, yes. The Obama administration blurred the lines, so much so there were multiple articles. All you got to do is look it up. Multiple articles written on how the lines between Washington, what I like to call the state, the lines between Washington or the state and Hollywood have been completely blurred to where they don't exist. Is there an incentive? Is there a financial incentive? I don't know. There has been in the past for comics to do educational stuff. I'm sure it's considered that way now. But this is not new news. Sana Amanat, who is essentially in charge at Marvel, her family has deep connections to the Obama administration, and that's how she got the job. There was also Dee Dee Meyer, I believe her name was she worked for the Clinton administration. She was pretty high up in Warner Brothers, and there's many, many more, including Kumar's buddy, Harold, Kal Penn, worked for Obama. And again, there's name after name after name. A former speechwriter is writing is now a Hollywood writer. Former Clinton and Obama administration folks are in SAG and all those places. Yeah. And former Bush administration people are in the boardrooms of big tech. I can't remember her name. Remember what's her name? That the girl CEO that wanted to be Steve Jobs, and she came up with that you could blood test immediately, and it all ended up being a giant fraud, and she's in court going to jail. If you saw the boardroom, I know it's not related to entertainment, but if you saw the boardroom for that, it had Henry Kissinger in it. So, there's so much fraternization going on between big tech, Hollywood, and the state. Yes, that's why it's starting to look a lot like propaganda, because the word you keep hearing from the adult pretenders is platform. It's a platform. We heard this recently from Simu Liu, called Shang-Chi is a platform. Brie Larson wanted to use her platform of Captain Marvel. We've heard Alex Kurtzman use that word. We've heard Michael Chabon use that word. Over and over and over again, we hear that word. So yes, that stuff is going on. Is it a nefarious plot with one puppet master, or is it a bunch of like-minded people? I think it's more of the latter. All going in the same direction to fortify our country. And those little heretics out there We cause a lot of problems. We do. Apparently, YouTube is tightening the ship a bit. So if I say, talk about cuties, this live stream will probably get demonetized. There's a rap article going around talking about how Netflix has suppressed that movie, or maybe they just took it out of the top 10, maybe it was, or the recommended, because it was time. Who knows? I don't think they're backing off on it. Because I don't think they're backing off on it because they don't like the material. I think they're backing off because of the backlash. And I think that can be real because guess what? As Jeremy said in his video today on D-Day Cobra, which got demonetized, speaking out does make a difference. Not saying anything doesn't. And anybody, we're free to speak out. We could speak out whenever we want about what we want. And if that does harm, I would beg to differ on that definition. Questioning things is not harm. Questioning things is a natural thing that comes to us humans. When we see bullshit, we like to call it out. Not everybody. But there's a lot of our detractors out there who want us to be quiet, who would like us to shut up. Well, that helps the corporations. Well, a lot of them do that in hopes of getting in good with those corporations. They want to get a little crumb of Hollywood coño. And then there's, I don't know what the other reason would be. We certainly want to drive things to independent alternatives, which we do quite often. But we also need to continue calling it out if we're going to have any change at all. Uphill, yes, it's an uphill battle. Yes, it's going to take a long time. And no, it's not for everyone. If it's not for you, I mean, by all means, dip out. It can get pretty heavy at times, especially when you're covering things like cuties. When you see stuff like that and you see people defending it. And I would like to clarify something again that I said in both my videos on that subject about a year ago. I do not want the government telling Netflix what they can or cannot have on their platform. That's not what my assessment of the situation is. We should all have a personal line. As far as free speech, free expression, as far as art is concerned, I'm pretty open. There's only a couple of things I would say, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that. One of them is against the law. And I think if it's against the law, you probably shouldn't make it. I think it's very questionable whether Cuties was against the law or not. I do believe the film was made in France, so their laws are a bit looser over there. But I would say it at least warranted an investigation because there was 600 auditions that were taped of children. So, yeah, I fully believe in free speech, free expression. I do not believe the government should be mandating what a company can or cannot do. I'm saying the company should just have a personal line that they shouldn't cross. I'm not 100% absolutist when it comes to that because when it comes to kids, there is harm. A lot of harm. Abuse to kids, especially under the age of 10, reprograms their brain for the rest of their life. And without a lot of therapy, they're in for a very rough life, and it's not their fault. They were abused. The common element that I saw between prison and going to meetings, AA meetings, is there's a lot of abuse. A lot of people were abused as kids, very young kids, which led to self-loathing, low self-esteem, same thing, which led to drugs. There's also the condition of they were just born with. This when it comes to addiction, that abuse can trigger. So yeah, we should call stuff like that out. As far as all other art is concerned that I call it out as a critic. I never ever say it should not exist. It can exist by all means. And if it fails, it's not because of me, it's because of consequences. Sorry, I just got a message from Perry Chan, an international treasure. Other content creators, they can say what they want. They can do what they want. I never say they shouldn't exist. I have never flagged a video. And I think most people haven't flagged a video. I don't care what's said. I don't care how awful it is. And the stuff that would, I guess, be that maybe I wouldn't even look for. So I would never see it. But YouTube is tightening it up. There's Kurt. What's up, Kerp? What's up, Kerp? I'll show that in just a second. Yeah, YouTube is tightening it up for all the wrong reasons. You know, all the other shit is out there. The only thing I've really asked for is consistency, and we don't see that. That's part of having principles, though. I never said YouTube had them. I'm grateful for the platform, but it's obviously one-sided. And even, I'm tame compared to many, many others. Of late, there's been a spotlight on this channel because of Friday Night Tights and some of my videos, yes. Which is fine. But it's also the same stuff I was doing, a year ago. It's evolved, but I'm still calling out woke Hollywood. I'm still trying to call out the bullshit where I can. And occasionally bring you something I like. Like Dune. I like Dune. I thought it was good. I don't think it was the greatest movie ever made, but I thought it was good. You should definitely go to the theater and see it and have a good time. I like The Suicide Squad. I was very bummed. Apparently, The Suicide Squad Blu-ray 4K sold out. So I'm getting mine late. So yeah, we'll see that in just a second. We'll see Sly's my favorite superheroes who became queers. It's good. It's good. First, let's take a look at the dropping scores on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, Rotten Tomatoes is full of shit. So imagine how bad. Okay, there is the argument the critics hate it, so it might be good. All right, I'm open to that. I would say I'm like 0.5% open to that. I think this one is so bad that even the shills can't say they love it. I mean, because everything about this movie, look at how many people defended Captain Marvel, and this movie ticks every box. How are they not defending this movie? Well, it must be that bad. Or maybe Disney is just losing its power. Maybe the critics figured out that their integrity wasn't worth that gift basket or that early review, because everybody's getting early reviews now. I mean, what's the point of having an early review when 50 or 60 other people have an early review? Maybe they didn't get that interview with that actor. Maybe they've been busting their ass being a Star Wars fan or a Marvel fan for 5 years and they just don't feel like it's rewarding anymore. I don't know. I don't care. It's at 64%. Let's see what the top critics have to say. Oh, ouch. 54% top critics. My. It's dipping. It was at 77% 2 days ago. Maybe Marvel's regretting releasing this one a little early. So as you know, again, Eternals is banned in China because Chloe Zhao said something negative about the country, especially in their centennial year. That's probably wasn't a good idea. And by all accounts, it's awful. They're introducing 10 new characters that most people have never heard of. The costumes look terrible. The aesthetic looks like mud, like a yellowish mud color palette. And everybody is clearly in front of a green screen. These are also gods, right? These are essentially demigods that decided to let themselves go a little bit. We got a beautiful middle-aged women, which I'm not against. And then we have a couple of little plus-size guys. We have Marvel's first deaf superhero. And then we have Richard Madden. But the star is supposed to be Gemma Chan, Cersei. She, when Chloe Zhao came in, she took a look at the script and she decided to make her the star over Richard Madden. Okay. I mean, he's not famous or anything. I'm sure there was a creative decision behind that. We got Angelina Jolie in a Marvel film. And the producer yesterday in that god-awful red carpet event from last week said they are introducing the new slate of popular Marvel characters because we did get rid of some pretty big actors. And some more are on the way out. And they're hoping that they will replace Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans. Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't think so. I'm not feeling the charisma, the gravitas. They have little Sprite back there too. Little Sprite. Apparently, we're going to get a sex scene, a gay sex scene. Because, man, that is what I've always wanted in a Marvel film. And I'll be clear, I don't want to see a sex scene in a MCU film. Maybe in not that they're ever going to do this, but something like Daredevil, rated R content on a streaming service. That's fine. That would be more appropriate than this. But yeah, I was sitting with Nerdrotic Jr. the other day, and I'm like, son, we really need a gay sex scene in a Marvel film. That will, they are acting like the Eternals is going to cure cancer. It might cure people from wanting to waste time on the weekend. That's about it. So it's projected to make $100 million on its opening weekend, and it might. Marvel's a very strong brand. It has to be because it just went through the worst phase, Marvel Phase 4, the MCU. And this movie is going to be the wokest of the Marvel films by far. At least until Miss Marvel comes out, I'll say content. That's what they call it. Let's just call it all content, whether it's on Disney Plus or in the theater or whatever. I actually thought a couple months back that this film might get delayed because I thought we'd be locked down. I was wrong. Mandates came instead. For instance, I think to go to this, well, I don't know if they're mandating movie theaters in LA yet. I know they're mandating restaurants and such. I know in San Francisco, you can't go to the gym, you can't go into a restaurant without showing your vax passport, your papers. When I do review this film, I will be buying a ticket to another movie and sneaking in. It's not entirely honest. That's between me and the creator. Let's see if we got any new reviews here. Oh. Oh. Let's blow this up a little bit for blind old me. Hopefully I'll have time tomorrow to go get on getting some new glasses so I can actually read some of this stuff. Brian Omdorf of Blu-ray.com says involves a lot of windy locations, sparse imagination for action, and at a cost of characters who are seldom interesting. C-. Oh my. Rohan Patel from comicbookmovie.com says Marvel has its first existential crisis, coming to terms with not only what it means to be a hero, but also what it means to be a god. It's extremely ambitious, and while it doesn't comparatively soar, it still opens a whole new realm of possibilities. Well, here's what I think is the problem. Knowing what I know of this movie, unfortunately, I know a lot about it. You see, we live in a time where the people creating stories about heroes hate them. They don't like the hero's journey. They don't like the traditional hero. So, and what Disney's going to have a big problem with, because they really want to get into the nihilism of today, but they're still supposed to be family friendly. So how can you be nihilist and family friendly? Well, we're going to find out in the Eternals. So if you can't make a story about a hero, how can you make a story about a god? Well, you do it by grounding them. Well, because I really need to see my heroes grounded. One of the actors said, well, me being plus size shows that anybody can be a hero. Anybody can be a hero. You don't need a plus size actor to show you that. A lot of the people, even Selma Hayek, who I like, was like, we're going to inspire little boys and little girls. No, you're not. Not with stuff like this. What inspired a lot of little boys and girls back in the day was heroes being heroes, heroes looking like heroes, heroes looking like gods, something to aspire to. You know, it never bothered me that I was never going to be able to climb walls or have spider sense. I didn't feel less than because of it. While I can respect that the MCU took a risk by telling an ambitious and different kind of story, the story and storytelling simply didn't match the film's ambitions, says Sean Chandler of the Sean Chandler Talks About. I have never heard of Sean Chandler, but he is a top critic. People will decide for themselves whether its innovations are enough or not. But for me, it was somewhat disappointing, says Mikel Zorilla from X spinoff. Never heard of it. Vanity Fair. Cassie DaCosta says, from visuals to music choice, there's a lack of style here that only further emphasized by the film's refusal to focus. Well, that's because you hired what is largely a visual director, Chloe Zhao. She likes to, well, especially with the last, I can't even remember but the last movie she did, which I saw about 40 minutes of, it was a lot of let's go around the Southwest and take wide sweeping shots of beautiful country. And she did it well, but it didn't like have a ton of story, a lot of movement, things you need in a superhero film. Plus that whole not liking heroes thing, because the reason this film is even being made, and Kevin Feige, by the way, lied on the red carpet. More on that in my video. Kevin Feige initially said that they had this story set to go. It was already ready to go because of the possibilities that they had with inclusivity and diversity. Before they hired Chloe Zhao, script was already partially written. Then she came in. It's not what he said on the red carpet. Producers lie, by the way. That's normal. It's not a big revelation there. Oh, boy. Laura Clifford from Reeling Reviews, never heard of it, says, Zhao's imprint can even be felt in special effects featuring celestial shapes, natural stone, and double-decker buses turned into a shower of rose petals. What's a bummer? Is like this could have been really cool if they went full-on Kirby, because I love the Celestials, or the Celestials. I love Cosmic Marvel. And you know what? It's some of that stuff is unadaptable. Like, you cannot do it. That's why comic books are still the best medium. Eternals feels like a balloon that tried to hold it all together, but was filled to bursting. It's too much and not enough. The result is a very ambitious, very well made, kind of flat, and unfortunately forgettable film. Jermaine Lucier from IO9. Fuck IO9, by the way. CNET. Well, that's weird. CNET just gave it a bad review. So is this a different person from CNET? While I appreciate the Eternals' takes on creative risk with its time-jumping events, its convoluted plot ultimately lets it down. And it got a tomato, but I'm telling you, I just saw... Hang on. Transition. I just saw a CNET. Eternals reviews. And now it doesn't want to move. Here it goes. Now I can't find it. But CNET just like trashed it. Yeah. Eternals review. A convoluted plot lets the unique Marvel entry down. But that's a positive review. So, we saw a lot of this with Captain Marvel. Spinning things. And we know Rotten Tomatoes tends to protect things. I do believe The Rise of Skywalker is still at 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. With Doctor Who, Series 11 was stuck on 20% for the longest time, even though Series 12 got to, and I'm not kidding, 0%. Zero. I don't think I've ever seen that before. They quickly fixed it, but I'm glad I caught it when I did. Of course, I made a video on it. We said this was going to happen. A lot of people denied it, but the reason they did all new, all different Marvel was to be a template for what they were going to do in the films. Yes, Disney wants their own characters. They don't want to have to go to court all the time to renew copyrights. They want mantles to be passed so they can own the characters outright. This goes all the way. This goes way, 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 way back with superheroes. So there's financial motivation. Everything about the diversity and inclusivity is financially motivated. It's cheaper. Plus, you look really good. You can virtue signal to your little pals at the cocktail parties. But there is an element of politics involved. They introduced them into our superhero films, into our Star Wars films, into our Star Trek TV shows. And I don't mean just allegorical politics. I mean specific, personal, cultish politics. Trying to find the right word there. And it is a new religion. And calling it out is heresy. And we're seeing Chapelle go through it. We saw Gina Carano go through it. Remember, what was Gina Carano really canceled for? Was it that tweet about the Yahtzees? No, it was beep, bop, boop. That's why they went after her and wouldn't stop. And that's why they wanted her to go through a 40-person Zoom struggle session. That was Disney's idea, by the way. The wonderful company that's really looking out for you while thanking concentration camps and making a woman go through a 40-person Zoom struggle session, which no woman or man should ever go through. That's cruelty beyond belief. But it's cruelty in the name of kindness and empathy. Boeasy Bird for $49.99. Thank you very much. Says, hey, Gary, hope you and your family are doing okay. I sent you an email yesterday about advice on how to help a loved one with drug addiction. No rush to answer it. Would love for your help. Keep it up. I will answer that this evening. I can tell you right now, it's tough. I don't, without knowing the details, on the occasion where moms and dads have come to me, especially when it's your kid, the hardest answer to hear is you got to let them hit bottom. You can't force them. You can't force them into sobriety. It's never worked. And it's a dangerous game to let them hit bottom. But they got to figure it out for themselves. It wasn't an easy choice for my dad, but my dad did it. I don't know. I was never in my dad's head, so I don't know what his motivations. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with a repugnant little shit kid anymore. That's probably what it was. But my dad cut me off at a very early age, 15 and a half. 15 and a half, he sent me packing. Never to return. Oh, I returned later when I was poor with my first wife and I needed a place to live while I saved up some money for an apartment in my 20s. And they let me stay there when I got out of the pen for a month. But that was it. 15 and a half, I was on my own. And it took me a long time to figure it out. But I'll certainly answer the email. It's tough. It's really tough. Phoenix Tangent for $5. Is it the 27th? Jesus. Phoenix Tangent for $5.99. Hail brisket breakfast tacos in Texas. Are those a thing? I'm going to try those. Phoenix Tangent. So could the Eternals be good? Sure. I don't think so, though. Especially hearing from not one, but two of my friends, who for one, I trust while we don't agree on everything, I trust their taste, especially since both of them work in the industry. Both of them have worked in the industry for quite some time. And I wish we had 1,000 more like these two, because then we'd be discussing normal nerd stuff like Batman's cowl. Should his costume be bulletproof? These are conversations nerds should be having. American ammunition manufacturer Hornady required the jab, then sent emails and sent back our purchases, and now no mandate. We can make change, says Toxic Man Flu. Oh, I'd love to hear that. Outstanding. That is good. Yes, we can. In-N-Out Burger had a second location closed in Pleasant Hill up in Northern California. Hold the line, In-N-Out. Hold the line. Don't put out with this shit, because if enough of us say no, they can't do anything. The fact that this is even happening is beyond me, because I thought something like this couldn't happen. But part of the problem is we as a nation are letting it happen. So the culture war in pop culture is a microcosm of the overall culture war. So it's a very frustrating thing trying to win the hearts and minds of the normies. When we hear support and then, then people go out and like we can have different tastes in films. That's fine. But financially supporting, like, hey, it was a big deal when The Rise of Skywalker, The Fall of Skywalker came out, the lead up for that. It was just a disaster for Disney. And then The Mandalorian came out, changed everything. A lot of people went back, and that's fine. That's their choice. But then when Disney decided to be Disney, what's the story of the frog and the scorpion? Disney decided to be Disney. People were bummed. I wanted things to change too, and I kept an open mind to it, but I wasn't ready to come back, and now I'll never come back. For me to even I don't know if I could like Star Wars again. Like, say they erase the Disney trilogy. Say they bring back the EU and they rehire Gina Carano. This is like pie in the sky shit. That'll never happen. I don't know if I'd even like it after that. And Disney has to know that. They've done enough market research to know that even if we did all these things, would we get everybody back? Russell T. Davies is coming back to Doctor Who. You're not getting everybody back. Damage done. That's why you don't do shit like this. That's why you should occasionally listen to fans. We're not always right. But when it comes to the legacy of something we love, when it comes to the foundation of something we love, when you hear enough of us en masse talking about one singular thing, you might want to listen, like deconstructing Luke Skywalker. I don't even give a shit about Finn and freaking Rey Skywalker, because I can't get past what you did to Luke for them. They're cardboard cutouts. They're meaningless. They're nothing characters that will have no lasting legacy whatsoever. As much as Disney wants to force it down our throats, they're going to have to give up on that one eventually. And they're already starting to. But, what's Star Wars going to be? Mucking around in one little time period between the Disney trilogy and The Last Jedi forever? I know where that story ends. Saig Schweizer, I'm sorry if I screwed that up, for $20. Are you enjoying One Piece? I am. Review will be to my members next week. What do you think of its art? I'm getting used to it, okay? Forgive me, manga fans. One of the biggest problems I've had with manga is the art. I'm an American comic books fan, so I'm used to that art. I'm getting used to it. I think some of it is spectacular and some of it is not. I'm definitely enjoying anime. I am enjoying anime. Garrett Barley for $4.99. To quote the Critical Drinker, the message. Yes, it's all about the message. The Eternals is the message. That's all the movie is. Gary, I'm seeing Chrissy Mayer in New Jersey in November. She has a gig coming. I'm psyched. Best time is now for $9.99. Hell yeah. Support-based comedians. Support-based comedians. And they don't get more based and they don't get funnier than Chrissy Mayer, who has become quite the staple on Friday Night Tights. That's a hint. Bear Nerd Fun, longtime member. Thank you for the $1.99. Thank you for the almost 2 years, 1 month short of 2 years of support. I appreciate it. I do. Hi Q for 10 British pounds. That's real money. Gary, I know you Americans love your celebrity, but you don't get to shoot a woman and kill her and walk away without a care in the world. I hope they charge Alec Baldwin in the full extent of the law, if he is guilty. We have a thing. Okay. Hi, Q. You have a point. Americans love their celebrity. I don't know if they love Hollywood celebrities so much anymore. I think the era of the Hollywood celebrity is gone. We have a thing called due process, which I'm sure you guys do too, that Alec Baldwin gets like every other American. If he did something negligent, if he was the person who did it, then it would probably be a man. Now, you would have to prove intent and all that. I don't think, I could be wrong, but based on what I've seen, I don't think he did it on purpose. I think it was negligence because of the armorer, and that is the biggest problem in Hollywood, always has been. Nepotism, all this inclusivity and diversity, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's the anointed ones who get to work there. By all accounts, she shouldn't have been doing that job. But her dad is a famous armorer, I guess. I think Ryan Kinnell and others are covering it just great. A person died. And you know, I cover a lot of serious subject matter here, but when it comes to an individual dying, it's just not stuff. I'll talk about it on a live stream, but I will not make a video on it, period. It's a very sad situation for the DP's, family. And, yeah, but I can't say like, I mean, do I feel bad for Alec Baldwin? I guess on a basic human empathetic level, I would certainly not want to be in that situation. Alec Baldwin has done a lot to make himself very unpopular with a lot of people, including saying some pretty horrific shit. And that's why I think he is a living lesson. That's why maybe you should just check yourself on what you say. I know most you guys would not celebrate somebody's death. You would not wish death on people. It's not the kind of thing humans do. No matter how much we dislike somebody, I've told the story before. The kid who bullied me from the time I was 5 to the time I was till I got bigger than him, and I finally just fought back, but bullied me pretty brutally, died in 1994, got hit by a Mack tool truck, flew about 90 feet and died. I wasn't happy when I heard it. But if Alec Baldwin is responsible, then yes, he is not above. No, he is not above the law. He is not above the law. I did time with this poor kid. He was poor. He was literally poor. And he was driving his cousin to the airport, and he fell asleep at the wheel, got in a car accident. Unfortunately, his cousin died. He got charged with manslaughter. Never had a drunk driving, didn't have a parking ticket. This kid never did anything wrong in his life, and it carried a mandatory sentence of 1 year in county. So this poor kid, who had never done anything wrong, fell asleep at the wheel like anybody else could, did a year in county jail. He ended up only doing 6 months, but shouldn't have done any of that. It was an accident. He felt bad, and he had no business being in there. Even as young as I wasn't innocent, so I knew how to I knew how to deal with things in jail, even when I was a kid. But this poor guy, did a year. And there's people walking free because they're celebs. There's a couple of football players walking around who have murdered people. supposedly. Walking around, golfing. Life isn't fair. Love your stream, says Eric Ted Wood. Fractured my butthole for I repeat, Eric Ted Wood fractured my butthole for €2. Love your streams. Oh, I love the internet. I do. Keemstar retired. Why? He's got like almost 4 million subscribers. It's not like there's a shortage of drama, but he said the drama's not fun anymore. He actually poked in on some of my drama. He found out there was nothing really there, I think, and just kind of backed out. But some of the drama that was going on, he poked in on. I think I agree. I don't watch a lot of his stuff. Only once in a while when things get really salty. I agree with the Quarterings assessment that he'll be back. He's probably going through a bit of a midlife crisis. He has been on YouTube for like 14 years, he said. That's a long time. And I think he wants to bring somebody else in. I mean, why would he listen to me? You know, he's got almost 4 million subs, knows more about YouTube than I'll ever know. I wouldn't do it. Just take some time off. He'll be fine. If Keemstar could he's one of the few YouTubers who could take a couple of weeks off and just be fine. We all go through midlife crises. And we get over them. I had a pretty horrific one, but came out the other end much stronger. So I would tell him to reassess. Not that he's going to listen to me. Stargate 404 for $5 says, I have no idea what you're talking about, Gary. I will own nothing, and I will be a happy pleb. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon, by the way. I tell you, I probably told you guys already. I get these random DMs from my son. My son is in a different state right now, homeschooling. His brother's supervising him while my family is spread out throughout the country right now while we are in limbo looking for another house. Like I said, I think we found one, but there's an issue. But I get like random DMs from my kid once in a while, and they're fucking hilarious. Like one of them, by the way, I can tell what YouTuber he's watching. Like I get this one. It would be cool if I could dress up as the Shadow for Halloween. Somebody's been watching Razor Fist. What do you think aliens could look like? And these are like 2 days, 3 days apart. And then I get, let's go, Brandon, in the form of a question. And I just responded, let's go, Brandon. Yesterday I got, what would being mind controlled feel like? Sleepwalking during a lucid dream? I answer all his questions, by the way. And then he says, this morning, I am done with the MCU and their BS. These people are loco. That's my boy. I love him so much. I love that he's repeating the MCU back to me. That's hilarious. Mario Badia for $5. The last time you said something would flop, it ended up doing the exact opposite. When was the last time I said something would flop? When was the last time I said for a fact that something would flop? Present it. There is thousands of hours of stuff out there. I could have said it. What I remember saying about Shang-Chi, by the way, I wouldn't say Shang-Chi did the exact opposite of flopping. Shang-Chi, which is the 6th lowest grossing Marvel Cinematic Universe film when not adjusted for inflation, I wouldn't call that a success. What I said is Shang-Chi will probably be an average movie that will do averagely at the box office. That's what I actually said. What I put on my thumbnail is flop because in 3 videos I talked about, could this be the year we get a Marvel flop? It was just speculation. But thank you for not watching the video. I would say that the Eternals will probably make its money back, but barely. And then it'll make a little more money on the back end, through Blu-ray sales. It's not making any money as far as toys are concerned. That'll probably be a big flop. It'll probably cost more to make the toys than they actually make back. They're already in the discount. Peripheral stuff, costumes, it's not going to sell any costumes. It's going to be forgotten. So to MCU standards, by the way, do we need to go look at by the numbers? We might do that in a little bit, but I'll just tell you that prior to the COOF, MCU films were making close to $1 billion per film. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp was the last one to not crack $1 billion. I think it made 600 or 700 million worldwide. Released in China, by the way. But what investors, what the board members, what stockholders expect is success, repeated success, and they don't want to hear excuses. They don't care what the difference is between Infinity War and Shang-Chi. So I know there's a lot of people out there who want to take what corporations say at face value, and you are free to be that naive. But if you want to come back at me that Disney said it was a success, okay. Well, I'm comparing it to their other films, and I wouldn't call it a success. It sounds like people are really eager to like an average movie. That the main character, again, like Black Panther, wasn't really the main character in his own movie, and it ended up being more about his sister at the end. But as far as making a film, when they make films, they want to make a profit. Simply making your money back, while technically it's not a flop, I wouldn't call it this flaming success that everybody's calling it. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. They have built-in excuses, though. The Delta variant, the COOF, being banned in China. Well, I tell you right now, that film wouldn't have done well in China at all. So that wouldn't have saved it. The Delta variant, while I absolutely believe there's some people who are scared to death to go to movie theaters and probably will never go to a movie theater again. I think it had little to do with it because I'm seeing all other events packed. And Venom, which quality-wise was not the best film I've ever seen. I'd say a solid 5 out of 10. I gave it basically the same thing I would give Shang-Chi, but at least Venom tried to be fun, and it didn't try to force any stupidity down my throat. And even when they tried to do an allegory, it ended up being kind of funny and came off kind of bad, really, if you're looking at it from their point of view, not mine. So, yeah. Do I think the Eternals will flop, meaning it'll lose $100 million? No. But I want to remind you, Black Widow lost money. The Eternals budget is $200 million. So it needs to make, I'll be nice, it needs to make $375 million to make its money back. I'm pretty sure it'll make that. I'm guessing it'll do 225 domestic at the box office. That's a very high estimate, by the way. It does have some competition. It comes out, and then what comes out the next week? A movie that will crush it, called Ghostbusters. And that's going to be a big problem. So they got a week. I think it's 10 days before Ghostbusters comes out. Yeah. So that's what I think will happen. I think it will barely make its money back and be an absolute forgettable movie, and that's 3 forgettable movies in a row. And the only successful Marvel film will be a Sony one, because when No Way Home comes out, nobody's going to remember the Eternals. Nobody's going to remember Shang-Chi. Nobody's going to remember Black Widow, who is a character I like, by the way, not in that last movie. And that's just going to be filled with nostalgia bait. And that movie is going to make a lot of money, and it's going to make Shang-Chi, Black Widow, and the Eternals look incredibly bad when it makes $1 billion. Because I think that one's making $1 billion. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think it's going to have a monster opening weekend. I think when the next trailer comes out, and I think I heard Andrew Garfield might be in this trailer. They're saving Toby for last. It's going to get millions of views. Yeah, it's and the only reason they're holding back is they don't want it to overshadow the move. Well, like it overshadowed Shang-Chi quite a bit. Sketch for $5. Winners don't need to flaunt. Our art or our actions will speak for themselves. Now let's get out there and kick some ass for the Fellowship. I absolutely agree with that. I like that. Act like you've been there before. I think that's a good assessment. WG. Oh, whoops. I'm on the wrong side. Sorry. Hi, WG. I'll get to yours in a second. Sorry. My bad. I was in the wrong section there. Russman for $25 says, "Hail, Gary. Here's a couple of bucks towards the U-Haul. I hope you guys have a meetup in Florida. I'll be there." Yes, we are going to have a meetup in Florida. And after this, I will call. Thank you, Mrs. Nerdrotic, by the way, for taking care of all that stuff for me. I need to call Jeremy, and we got to talk about this Arizona meetup, which is going to happen very, very soon. But we'll have something for you tentatively, I'd say, in the next month on the Florida thing. It's going to take a little that Jeremy and I are not capable of. We're going to need a little help. But yeah, the Florida meetup, can't wait for it. And yeah, as far as a U-Haul is concerned, we're going to need a moving van, and they're hard to get right now. Like all the fervor of the left, all the big names left, and they're already gone and they're already set up. Dopey me, it took a year to get our house in any kind of, well, this is despite Melissa still had to work. So my son was there watching the house. We had to get it in, there was a lot of stuff we had to do to get it ready for sale. Then we eventually put it on the market. That all took a year. So now it's all said and done, and we can actually look for a house. Houses are going fast in Texas. So if we see something we like, we're not there. We're at a huge disadvantage. We also have some advantages, some big advantages. And hopefully it can happen quick. But then once we buy the house, it's going to take 3 months to build a studio, because I guess this is a good time to talk about it. I'm building a studio. I'm going to build a studio that's going to be about as big as this room. And we're going to be able to have guests in-house. Maybe, when we do Friday Night Tights, Comics Division will be able to come over and just do it in studio with me, or anybody from Texas can do it in studio. Quarter Black Garrett's in Texas, although he's a little far away from where I'm moving. Eric July's in Texas. A lot of people in Texas. So, yes, there's going to be a studio, a legit studio. I got pretty inspired by what I saw at Timcast IRL. Now, I don't have Timcast money, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'll do a little smaller version of that, and it will still have lots of toys in it. There will be lots of toys lining the walls. I have it up here right now. I haven't sat out and designed it, but that's going to take about a month, right? So when that studio is built, we are going to have a very rock solid live stream schedule. And there will be 4 for now live streams scheduled, and then I'm gonna go revisit some other live streams. Once I get that rock solid schedule down, I'll be able to see what other ones I will be able to do or revisit at the time after the move is done. But what you will be getting is a Nooner on Monday and Wednesday. I think I'm just going to do it noon, I think Central Time. It'll be Central Time when I'm in Texas. Noon or 1 Central Time. It's going to take me a while to get off this Pacific time zone, get away from that. There will be the real BBC on Tuesday at 10 a.m., alternating between my channel and Az's channel. And, of course, Friday Night Tights at 2:30. The big news is, and I can't say the person's name yet, is I'm bringing somebody on to help me with live streams. So basically an engineer that's going to help me pull up articles, set up the live streams, do a bunch of stuff so I can just sit down and do my thing. And that will pretty much solve the timing issues and any technical issues. I almost want to, I think I'll still run part of Friday Night Tights by myself just because I wouldn't want to take away the boomerisms from any of you. I know you guys get a lot of chuckles out of my mistakes. So why stop now? I'm a very fallible human being. And like I said before, if you are going to laugh at my expense, that is a good thing because you're laughing. And that's the whole point, right? So, yes, there will be 4, and you can rely on them. They will be at the same time. And as far as the content is concerned, I think on the Nooners, I'm going to start bringing in guests. I'll still do some by myself, but I'm going to start bringing in guests. Maybe even down the road, a co-host. We'll see. We'll see. Big plans. And that's about as big as this operation's going to get. I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to build up the website, nerdrotic.com, because it's just a cheap-ass WordPress website that I built like 4 years ago that I just back all my shit up on. It's not anything serious. We're going to turn it into something legit. And that's it. That's as big as my operation's going to get. I'm not a leader of men or women. I'm even at the comic shop, I try to keep my employees down to 2 or 3. That's about as much as I like to manage. And I'm not a micromanager. I'm very lucky to have Perry and X-Ray Girl. They don't require like any instruction at all. They just do their thing. And that's good. Because, I'm not the kind of person who's going to call them 5 times a day and tell them what to do. I rely on people to be responsible, and they are responsible. Probably because they're Canadian. No, I don't know. Oh, and Rumble. Yeah, I was just about, and maybe I did sign up on Rumble. I don't remember, but I went to go sign up on Rumble, and my name was taken, so that's a bit of a problem. But maybe I did sign up before already. I think I had not Lady Gravemaster do it for me. I think she did it. Anyway, Rumble bought locals. That's kind of a big deal. But Lydia from Timcast pointed out something that could be a potential problem. And it's a company in Canada. Now, nothing against Canadians, but that would probably fall under some Canadian laws and Canadian rules, which, well, you guys don't have the same free expression that we still have for now anyway. So that would be my only concern. The plan is to have YouTube, and then, of course, I have Odyssey. You can go check out all my stuff's on Odyssey if you want to go watch it over there. It all goes over there automatically. BitChute, I just didn't like BitChute very much. It's over there, but I'm going to put a lot of my stuff on my website. That's where it's going to, I'm going to have my own alternative, and I think that'll work a little better. Acid Tongue Conservative. That's from me yesterday. Sorry. Oh, I did it again. The critic score for The Rise of Skywalker is 52% all critics and 43% for top critics. I was talking about the audience score. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got it there. And the audience score is still at 86%, but the fandom was wrong about it being bad. Duck Fisney, and that's Bear Business One for $10, and you're absolutely right. But the critics, remember what their spin was on The Rise of Skywalker, is it deconstructed The Last Jedi. That's why they were pissed. And no, I don't have any sympathy for Jar Jar Abrams. That's a bed that he fucking made. So he tried to have the best of both worlds. He tried to go back on what was his original plan. I still think that is complete bullshit because I remember watching a making of The Force Awakens and he was sitting with Lawrence Kasdan as they were writing the script while they were filming the fucking movie. Now, that's not the first time it's happened. As a matter of fact, Jon Favreau did that with Iron Man, and it worked out very well. You want to know why? Robert Downey Jr. can ad-lib better dialogue than most people can write because he is an actor. He is a gifted artist. I can't say that, Lawrence Kasdan was mailing it in. He used to be great. The guy used to be great. He's written some of the best movies of all time. But not anymore. So, yeah, the critics were spinning that Jar Jar was capitulating to the toxic fandom. The same criticism that you're going to hear with Ghostbusters when you're going to see some critics slam Ghostbusters. The only movie that will get slammed more will be Gina Carano's next film, which will be destroyed by critics. Just keep that in mind. And to be fair, I support Gina. I want her to do well. The movie has to be good. It's very important that these movies be good. And she's filming right now, by the way, and she looks happy as hell. And that's and she's free of Hollywood and she's doing her own thing. So much more rewarding than just being a guest star on a Star Wars show. Thoughts about the ratings of movies in woke.rate by app. It has over 5,000 movies rated on how woke, politically correct, and leftist they are. It says based kangaroo for €5. Yeah, that is, I'm going to go over that a little bit in my video. I'm going to go over that. It's something I should have gone over a long time ago. I fucking love it. I love it. See, this is how we fight. This is how we win, by using their own shit against them. We have to infiltrate. By all means, if you are a creative person and you have the ability to make a TV show, to write a TV show, you find somebody who is like-minded who you can collaborate with, because this isn't like a comic. If you're going to make a TV show, go ask Ian from Rebecca Gold how hard it is, how difficult it is to make something like a TV show, like a web series. You need to have an army of people. But if you can collaborate, you need to collaborate if you guys want to do something. And that's tough because even on the common sense side, there's going to be egos. There's going to be egos. I stand behind Alec Baldwin because there is no way I'd stand in front of him, says Vasidius for $9.99. It's not too soon for that. Guests are great for BBC and FNT, but no guests on the Nooner, says the R for $5. Okay. I'll listen to you guys. There you go. Solo Nooners it is. Occasionally I might bring somebody on. It's spelled the letter C and then it's SCH. So it's she. I don't know. For $10. Hey, Gary, emailed you as Jeremy and Ryan a custom fireworks show on FNT, and I saw it wouldn't play. Please check Trass and reach out through Infinity City Productions YouTube channel. Great for Halloween episode. I tried to play them and it wouldn't play for some reason. It said YouTube took them down. I'll try again. Maybe you resent them. But thank you for sending that. I'll check it out. Oh, I gotta show you guys something. This is fucking awesome. If you didn't catch the BBC yesterday. Somebody made comic book covers, and they're fucking unbelievable. There we go. Oh, and now it's gone. Let's try this. There we go. Sithcoin 1050 made these. Now, we kind of made up this, just we were bullshitting. We were live streaming, so we made up a superhero called Peeping Tom, who was Az. And there is... Whoops. Let's see if I can... Oops. Let's see if I can make that smaller. Nope, I can't. So you can see most of this. Look at that. How badass is that? All right, so we got the power of the tangerine. These look great, right? And then that is so fucking cool. Well done, sir. Thank you. I'm humbled by your talent. That is fucking brilliant. I need that for a t-shirt. We need to work out a deal, buddy. Oh, speaking of Twitter, I guess we can go to the Kyle Dunnigan. Here we go. All right. This is Sly Stallone's top 5 favorite gay superheroes. Got to make sure it's going through the right sound here. All right. Here we go. Check, check, check. Hopefully this won't echo.
You know we haven't done it in a long while. It's one of my favorites. You want to know my favorites?
Oh, yeah, we haven't done that in a long time.
No. My favorite superheroes who became queers.
Whoa, hey,
My favorite
I don't think you want. I don't think you want to say
What?
that like that. I don't know.
That's how you. That's what it is. Queer. That's. They reclaimed it, Boomer. It's a positive word. We just start queering this space. Actually, it's too much heteronormative activity between me and you. If you ask me. Yes, it's long overdue, Kerp. Starting with my favorite superheroes who became queer. My favorite superheroes who became queers. All right, let's do this. Number 1, Superman. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Superman having sex with a guy. Finally. Superman looks better without his beard, right? And her name was Lois Lane. All right, number 2, Robin. Look out, crime. That fist was for more than just punching. Come on. Number 3, come on. Wolverine, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. Now there's a queer sandwich I'd like to stuff in my mouth. Yum. Number 4, Batwoman. Move over, fruit and small insects. This bat is hungry for taco. And I don't mean the kind that isn't pussy. Number 5, and the best for last, Captain America. His shield only protects the front, if you know what I mean. All right.
Oh.
Gets me pumped when I do my favorites.
I love Kyle Dunnigan. I fucking love Kyle Dunnigan. Go give him a sub. Go give him a sub. Damn it. Guy's wrong in all the right ways. Oh, Gary, will you be celebrating Godzilla Day, November 3rd? P.S. I finally recovered for my COVID jab sickness. $5,000 in hospital bills later, and that's after you got the poke? Gino, I'm sorry, man. Fuck. Well, I'm glad you're better. If somebody reminds me, I mean, I like loved Gojira. I did when I was a kid. But we could certainly discuss it on a live stream. I'm open to that. Yes, brisket tacos are a thing. This is confirmed by my good friend, my little buddy, my little hobbit friend with platform shoes, Comics Division. Thank you for the $5, Comics. You could have just messaged me. And I was supposed to call you yesterday. I'll call you tomorrow because you got to tell me what a certain town in Texas is like. Because if I like it, the Grizzly for $50. Look at that, $50. How sad is it that Gojira and Dune are the truest to the lore to their series? Every other franchise is being deconstructed and wokeified. It's those two that were spared from it. Maybe Ghostbusters Afterlife. Jesus, this is the worst timeline. It's a parody timeline, the Grizzly. It's a parody timeline. Thank you for the $50. I appreciate it. And yeah, and the only reason they couldn't wokeify like a giant ape and a giant lizard and Dune is because like Dune's got woke themes in it already. So they felt like they didn't need to change it too much, but they certainly did gender swap a character, and they did it in the name of diversité. But it was fine. It worked in the movie. I didn't have a problem with. I wouldn't even know the difference, to be honest with you. It's up to the people who read the book to judge that one, and I will like. With certain characters, it doesn't bother me. It's never bothered me. Like, even in The Batman, Jim Gordon being black, you know, it's like, this is like the 6th Batman try. I'm like, whatever. That's going to be the last movie we see a white Batman, though. Just be ready for that. But when you do it to a ridiculous extent, like in House of the Dragon, or when you do it in something that's really specific, okay? And listen, Jim Gordon being white or black, a lot of people could, because that does affect Batgirl, and it affects a lot of things, and I'm open to debate on that. But when it comes to like Lord of the Rings, where Tolkien is very specific, very, very specific in building his world from the ground up. And you see organizations like the OneRing.net or the Tolkien Society trying to manipulate what Tolkien said to give it validation. They are trying to manipulate what Tolkien said to give it validation for Amazon. They are just little tools, little useful idiots. So, and they didn't even need to get asked, by the way. I think the Tolkien Society was asked. OneRing.net is insignificant, so I don't think they were asked. They were literally begging for access and willing to do anything to get it, and, well, they did. At the cost of their credibility. I can't wait to see the Tolkien Society and OneRing.net back this Lord of the Rings show. That's going to be just... Okay, let's set aside the wokeness just for a second. That's going to have fucking hobbits in the Second Age, and somehow Isildur is going to be the main character. I think I know what they're going to do there. I'm not sure if it's going to work. And fuck it, we'll just have a female Gandalf, and they'll just play it fast and loose, and they'll back it 100%. Trying to convince us what Tolkien meant. Oh, by the way, I could have made an entire video about this, but you're going to get an exclusive right here. Now, it's just fucking rumor. That's why I'm kind of done with them. But I've been chit-chatting with somebody who has proven that they are working on Lord of the Rings on Prime. I can say that there is going to be a nod. I don't know how serious of a nod. And this will come, this will not surprise you, by the way. You're going to go, yeah, we figured. There's going to be LGBTQ plus representation in Lord of the Rings. It's their show to do with what they like, but what you're probably going to hear is people saying that Tolkien had intended for that. I would question that. Not that it doesn't matter at this point because they don't give a shit what Tolkien thinks. When Christopher Tolkien passed away, it opened the door to fuck with the lore as much as they want. I have nothing against LGBTQ plus representation, alphabet representation. I don't think it needs to be in everything. I just don't. When I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, I'm talking about one specific story. Same thing I was talking about with Doctor Who. The Doctor's a male character, an established male character, and should remain so. Just because I have those views on one TV show doesn't mean those are my views of the world. Unfortunately, a lot of our detractors, a lot of people who have a different opinion than us, see the world through the lens of a 5-year-old. That's one of the many parts of the problem. Just because I want the Doctor to be a male character doesn't mean I think, women should have equal rights, of course. You must hate women because I want the Doctor to stay a dude? I hate women because I want the Doctor to stay a dude. I hate women because I think Captain Marvel's a shitty character and miscast. Or maybe it's just a shitty character. Or maybe the detractors just love sucking corporate cock. I don't know. Are you in? I read that one already. America. I read that one already too. That's good. Dun, 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 dun. I'm waiting to refresh. Manowar 665, the neighbor of the beast, says, we are soon to be in November. If you are out of turkey dinner candy corn, just let me know. I got a pack or two around here somewhere, propping the door open. Will your engineer be Scottish by any chance? No, he will not be Scottish. I cannot say, so I won't. I won't even give a hint. Southeastern Kaiju for $5. Relying much on your videos, my good man. Continue with the great content. Hail! Thank you. I'm going to be putting out more. I am going to be putting out a lot more. You will eventually get daily content on Nerdrotic Daily. It was never meant for poor Perry to be putting stuff up every day. It's, he and I were going to work on it together. So I guess you could call it my lower tier content. It won't be edited, basically. I'm going to cover a lot of, there'll be some political stuff on that channel. Some, not a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to Nerdrotic Daily. We are approaching 50,000 subscribers. And that is thanks to you. So thank you. Also, I'll be punished if I don't mention Instagram. We are approaching 10,000 followers on Instagram. And Melissa really wants 10,000 because I guess it allows us to do a lot more stuff. I'm going to be doing short videos on Instagram as well. I will not be joining TikTok. Fuck TikTok. It's still Chinese owned, despite what anybody else says. And fuck TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, a TikToker murdered his wife here in San Diego a day ago. I found this out because Jeremy tweeted it. Apparently, this guy Jin Kid or Kid Jin wanted to join Geeks and Gamers a few years ago. And I agree with Ryan Kinnell's assessment. Would have been a good fit. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible. So here's the seriousness of this, though. So this guy allegedly killed his girlfriend or wife. They had broken up. By the way, he has like a couple 100,000. Not that this matters, but he has a couple 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. He has almost 1 million followers on TikTok and has almost 300,000 followers on Instagram. And he did like Skyrim in real life, and he does a so-so impression of Al Pacino. A lot of followers. Had a good fucking life. Lived here in San Diego. Well, apparently he got a little rough with his girl. She broke up with him, and he thought she was cheating on him. But I mean, if your girl breaks up with you, she's not cheating on you. If she broke up with you. If she doesn't break up with you and has sex with another dude, then she's cheating on you. If she breaks up with you, she's not cheating on you, dude. So I see a lot of this, and obviously it's a crime of passion. It's very fucking sad. I think the dude died too. I'm not sure. Either way, it's a horrible situation. 3 people's lives are over, right? Because of a moment of passion and murder. And I'll just say to my fellow dudes out there, relationships can get messy. They can get fucked up. And I know sometimes love and obsession can reprogram our heads sometimes. But if a girl breaks up with you, then just go. There's other women out there. Lots of them. Half the planet. Yeah, it sucks. I've been through it quite a bit. Never needed to do that. What I did was never spoke with her again. And she didn't even cheat on me. And it was just, we broke up. I was the first wife, and we just never spoke again. It worked out really great. I got over it. You know, it was rough going through the divorce, but we decided to be friendly, and we didn't go to court, and it was dealt with. Yeah. But you see these cases where this dude has everything and just throws away his life. If he's convicted of this, there is no parole. He's in prison for the rest of his life, and he's going to be very popular in there. He's going to be very, very popular. And Al Pacino impressions aren't going to help you. It's fucking sad. Dude had it all. Not all. Well, apparently he didn't have it all. See, no matter how successful, sometimes people can just still be fucked up. It's incredible seeing shit like that, and sad. And I feel bad for the poor woman. Oh, by the way, there's a daughter involved. Now that daughter doesn't have any parents. Fucking social media. Hey, Gary, here's a couple of bucks. I read that one. Okay, that's good. We caught up. Okay. Chapelle. Dave Chapelle. I got to pull up this article. It's older. A lot of people have, man, I kind of missed the boat on this one. I still might do something on this because this is important. This is pretty important, I think. Oh, I'm busted. You can see what I was shopping for. I was looking at the Folio Society. Look at that Spider-Man book. That's fucking badass. That's what I was looking at. I'm busted. All right. Bounding into Comics is our good our good friend Josh Berger. I don't know Josh Berger, but I know John F. Trent. And John F. Trent is a friend. All right. So Dave Chappelle said he was open for a discussion. God, he's a better man for being open to a discussion with these. I mean, I'll just say it, with these grifters, with these fucking grifters, who are hypocrites, were saying horrible shit a few years ago, which is fine. I don't care. I don't think they should be canceled. I'm just pointing out how hypocritical they are. And one of the demands was the transgender employees at Netflix make more money. Okay. And that's what it's all about. But what we have here is a bit. I know Dave Chappelle has a ton of respect. I have respect for the man. You have respect for the man. A lot of people have respect. This is still woke on woke crime. This is still woke on woke crime. Dave Chappelle certainly feels politically a lot different than I do, a lot different than Eric July does, a lot different than a lot of people do. But he doesn't really get into partisan politics much, but you know what side he's on. So we have a couple of communities going up against each other right now. And this is the kind of stuff I think a lot of us expected to happen sooner, because there's a lot of conflicting beliefs even on the progressive left. You know, especially the cult. The progressive left cult is not very family oriented. But they've been very successful as painting the other side as just evil, like the California fucking recall. People who 6 months ago wanted Gavin Newsom's scalp after he went to the French Laundry with and you know, just fucked off his own rules, were perfectly willing to vote him back into office when they had the chance to show the people had the power, and they fucked it off because they believed that Larry Elder would come in and turn this into I don't know what. That this would flip and become the Handmaid's Tale. I don't fucking know. That's what they believe. It's just an opposing point of view, and you'll be surprised that Larry Elder probably agreed with a lot of these people on a lot of things, but they were just focused on a few differences that would have never happened in this state, by the way. A Republican governor wouldn't get a ton done. And that's why, by the way, I'm leaving, because it's a one-party state. It has been for 40 years. And if the population hasn't recognized that if one party being in charge for the last 40 years hasn't changed anything and you're still unhappy, but somehow it's still the Republicans' fault, I don't know how the fuck that works in your head. I just don't understand it. But when it comes to Dave Chappelle, I love what he said when he said, do not fucking summon me. I am not going to bend to your fucking demands. We need a lot more people saying that. Because big tech has given cancel culture power. Big tech in Hollywood has given cancel culture power by being fucking cowards, by appeasing. And we see what appeasing does when all they've ever had to say was no. Was no. What the fuck you going to do? Boycott us? You can't. So we got a good look at what cancel culture looks like during that protest, which was a giant fucking clown show, by the way. And yes, it is unbelievable that big tech takes them seriously. But because big tech and big Hollywood take them seriously, they do have a lot of power. And they are lunatics. Fucking lunatics. Things are so fucking upside down and backwards. And what we need is for the common man, the common woman, the common transgender person to come together under common sense. Forcing people to say shit isn't going to make them say it. It's going to make them not want to say it. Forcing people to do things is not going to fucking work. I can't speak for any other countryman, but I know here in America, a lot of us are it's in our DNA. Don't tell us what to fucking do. A lot of people have made the argument that we were evolving already in the right direction for the most part. The pendulum swings, but when it stops swinging, it stops in the middle. And that's what we're moving towards. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to achieve utopia, not in our lifetimes, but we can certainly make progress. We are making progress anymore. We are regressing and have been since about 2000, I don't know, arguably 2008, 2015. Remember when we thought the Patriot Act was bad? And it is bad, by the way. It sucks. Well, we've had about 7 Patriot Acts since then. And we're giving away our freedom, our liberty. And I appreciate, although, and I don't even care what the motivations are, that at least David Chapelle is standing up for himself. And David Chapelle standing up for himself does do a lot of good. You know, if Joe Rogan stood up for himself and sued CNN, that would do a lot of good. I don't know if Joe Rogan's ready to shoulder that responsibility. He'd be going up against the system, but I would argue that he could crush CNN. And then we see Bill Maher, we see Jon Stewart coming out in defense of Dave Chappelle. Their buddy, their comedian. Good, that's fine. That's great. Fuck both those guys. Both those guys helped let this woke wolf in the door. Perpetuated a lot of bullshit that led to like insane rhetoric. I don't care. You might think the Orange Man was a bad guy, and then he had some mean tweets, and you don't like him, but like really perpetuating this whole Russia bullshit for so long, and now we see people being silenced for just wanting to defend Dave. People being silenced for questioning the integrity of certain systems in our country. And it all started in pop culture, and it spread to our culture. Just like what Dave said in the closer, a lot of us here on YouTube, we've always been talking about a bigger picture, and we've been pretty clear about it. Despite what the corporate simps say.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refuse. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore. I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, that is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say. For the record, and I need you to know this, everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield, and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me, and we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the death,
I disagree with them on this part. We'll get to the end.
murder. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
He's talking about the Netflix CEO.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands.
I love that. I love that part. After all the madness of last year, and it continues. There's still there seems to be an obsessive focus by our mainstream media on a certain date in January over months of businesses burning last summer, which is a very large factor in why I'm fucking leaving the state. But now we are getting into newspeak. We are getting into being reprogrammed. We are getting into there's going to be a second class of citizenry in this country. I'm seeing shit I never thought I'd see in this country. And a lot of people just don't think it's a big deal because they have no fucking clue. No fucking clue what liberty is. I didn't. When I was a kid, I took everything for granted. Like, hey, man, it's just like this everywhere, isn't it? You know, I didn't fucking know. And I grew up. And I realized how precious liberty is, especially when I lost it. Lost it for 3 years of my life that I'll never fucking get back. And I got to sit for those 3 years and think about it every fucking day. Think about everything I did wrong. And really think about, I don't ever want to fucking come back here again. So I better figure this shit out. I got one chance. And I was looking down the barrel of an empty fucking life. When I was in there, it's very easy not to have hope because not a lot of people have hope. And that is one of the biggest problems in this country. There's a lot of ingratitude, and there's a lot of people who just from day one are told you're never going to make it here. You're a marginalized person. So guess what? We have a lot of marginalized people, but they're self-marginalized. Their circumstances are different than mine. I won't pretend to think I know everybody's experience here. And life is not fair and it's fucked up, but everybody should have hope. Everybody should be shown the way. Do I have a solution for this problem? No, I wish I did. I think a step in the right direction is having a positive male and female role model in your life is very important. Very basic shit, but it's not something that happens every day. When I was in there, I noticed there was a lot of black people in prison, and that's a problem that needs to be addressed. I think a lot of that has to do with there is economics, there's the system, and then there's the lack of hope. So when I got out, and forgive me if you've heard this story before. When I got out, like I understood what freedom was for the first time in my life. I understood what it was. I wish I could bottle it up and give it to everybody on earth, how I felt that day. I just felt grateful. I was grateful for the sun being in the sky, the birds chirping, the sky was blue. I didn't need anything. I didn't need any money. I didn't need any stuff. I didn't need a woman. I didn't need anything. I had my life. I had my freedom. And it was great. I could get up in the morning and just walk to the beach because I could. And I did. I walked 6 miles to the fucking beach from my house because I could. And I took a walk up that beach for another 6 miles. I think I walked like 20 miles that day because I could. And it was fucking one of the best days of my life. Now reality sets in. But also, you know, I forgot. I started to slowly forget that gratitude. So I try to remember it every day, and no, life isn't perfect and it isn't great. But the ability to, like, I can get in a car and drive to whatever state I want. Like, you can't do that everywhere. But we're giving that shit up. We're giving that shit up. Well, I'll be fucking damned if people are going to give up my freedom. You want to give up yours? Well, no, you can't give up yours, because if you give up yours, you're giving up mine. So we're at a bit of an impasse there. You know, as far as the poke is concerned, like everyone else has said, I don't care if you get it or not get it. Especially if it's an extenuating circumstance, like the thing I'm facing right now. If I want to visit my mom, I need to get the poke. I haven't visited my mom. We've talked on the phone, but I haven't visited. And it's fucked up. And I know a lot of people some people might not be able to visit their kids for some reason. Like, there's a lot of reasons to get it. But I would ask anybody to support. I mean, some basic shit here, by the way. I don't think I'm going out on a limb by just saying support freedom of choice. Support freedom. Support liberty, whether you get it or not. If any power that be actually thinks they're going to get 100%, they're insane. If they think they're going to get 80%, they're insane. Any business supporting this shit is insane. And I know a lot of businesses are secretly not supporting it, and that's good. But I hope enough of them get together and not secretly not support it. Because if enough of us just speak up, they can't do shit. Same thing during the lockdown, unfortunately. A lot of if the businesses just said, nope, we're staying open, there's nothing they could have done. Instead, everybody complied, and then they ratted on their neighbor. It's disgusting. So it's bigger than just a man wanting to do comedy. And the whole point of his entire show, I'll say this again, wasn't about that community. Wasn't about that fucking community. It was about his. And that's what he said. And I knew that before I even watched the special, because he said it in Sticks and Stones too. This is about controlling language. This is about using language, weaponizing language to harm people in the name of not harming people. This gets brought up a lot because I think it's applicable. This is a very small percentage of the population. And I don't mean that community. I mean the people who are actually talking out. You know, he said, I have nothing wrong. I have nothing against the alphabet community, and don't blame them. I would only disagree on this one point. Don't blame the individual. Don't blame the individual. Because most people don't want anything to do with this. They don't care. They think Dave is funny and Dave should do his comedy. Everybody should be able to do their comedy. Say what they want. And as I said in the last live stream, Alex Jones gets the same free speech as Dave Chappelle. You get the same free speech as Dave Chappelle. I get the same free speech as Dave Chappelle. I don't know where this is going to end. I'm very happy to see him stand up, and I think the only reason Netflix is standing up is because Dave Chappelle is a powerful voice, and if you canceled him, it would be a shit show, an unbelievable shit show that Netflix can't afford. They just got some momentum back with Squid Game. And a lot of people are watching this special too. And remember, this is a platform I do not subscribe to and won't until there's a certain movie that's, and well, there's another show there too that's got to be gone as well. But that's my personal choice. I will repeat again, I do not want a government entity removing it from Netflix. I would like to see them on their own accord just remove it. And I don't think sexualizing children is artistic. As a matter of fact, I know it isn't. It's a little bit of my San Francisco video. It's all mixed there. It's all liberty. It's all in the name of motherfucking liberty. And we're giving it up. And big tech, Netflix is fucking with, oh, sure, they're all about it when they want to put their fucking cuties shit up. And again, I don't believe there's any real genuine reason other than I think the Netflix CEO is friends with Dave, and I think he's scared of the other side if they pull Dave's special down. But I'm glad they're standing up, and maybe this will show other companies that they don't have to capitulate to the very small number of lunatics out there wanting to cancel everybody and everything. And yes, it does matter because those companies give them power, and then it does affect us. Did I not hear the former director of Buy Larger Mansions is now a county supervisor in LA? Another reason I'm getting the fuck out of California. Southeastern Kaiju for $2. Catch the UN's super cringe new ad. Jack Black. Oh no. Here, let's transition and see what that is. I didn't know there was a. Oh, wait. Oh.
Hi, I'm Jack Black. I'm here to talk about the Earth.
This is not about a celebrity inspiring you to take part, or a company trying to sell you something. This isn't about the Pope, or Lil Bub, or a cute internet hedgehog. This isn't even about saving the spotted owl, or a tree, or even a country. This is about all of us.
This is old. This one's old. Is there a new one? This one, yeah, I was just looking. It's 4 years old. I don't even want to finish it. By the way, we have to be very careful. We're not allowed to say anything like about the weather changing. I don't see a new one. If you want to send it to me on Twitter. Sorry about that. We'll continue. Ghislaine Man for $2 got a go-to city market in Lulling, Texas for the best brisket. Oh, okay. Where's Lulling, Texas? I don't know if that's near where I'm going to live. Is it near San Antonio? Because I'm going to live near San Antonio. Wormy Spoons for £2. Did the proof come in from a ring, Gary? Maybe. Paul 1113 for £5 British. Hey, Nerdrotic, if you are of German origin, you would only follow orders. Be proud you're Scottish. Rebel heritage. Hell yeah. That's why there's a little, there's a lot of gray, but there's a little red in my beard. A little red. Mayor Darth Starweaver for $10. I love Friday Night Tights comic book cover. You guys need to make a real comic book company. Oh boy. I'll sell comics. I'll happily sell them. I'll let young Ripa start the company. I want to see the Ripaverse. I can't wait. Yuri Bezmenov was right. He was. Tecumseh for $10. John Wayne for $4.99. Yes, keep Nooner solo. John, I don't want to read the rest. But thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate it, John Wayne. Paul 113, thank you for the £5. I appreciate it. That's a donation. Ghislaine Man for $5. You're not a boomer. You're Gen X like I am. That's true. We always get looked over. Went from boomers to millennials. What are we? Chopped liver? We are. We are the first generation to not do as well as the previous in the history of this country. That's what Gen Xers are. We also were left to clean up the party after the fucking baby boomers. The baby boomers who got to party and do all the drugs. And then when they grew up, they said we couldn't do anything. And then they put us on controlled drugs and created drug companies and created things like Oxycontin to get us all fucking hooked on shit. And there is, man, I went down a rabbit hole the other day. There is a lot of evidence pointing to the opioid epidemic starting right after the recession. And it might have been engineered to calm the public to avoid another, to avoid any trouble by oversubscribing pain medication that makes you feel better. The problem with opioids is they're highly addictive. They affect your judgment. For example, if you see somebody who is nice and healthy, and then all of a sudden it takes a little turn for the worse. They're a thought on TikTok. They want to be demon gendered, or they're talking about demon pronouns or something like that. Generally, there's probably some drugs involved, and it's not like normal drugs. It's the state-sponsored drugs like opioids. The one that the state wants you all hooked on. Yeah. Made by the companies that people are getting fucking tattoos for and praising and singing musicals to. Yeah. If any one of the three people on the Rust set cared enough to do their job, a woman would still be alive. Double back again for $5. Yep, that's a fact. They were fucking around. They were cutting corners. It was an independent production. The union people walked off the set. And now a woman's dead. And I'm sorry to hear that. But let's keep in mind, as we see Hollywood completely overreact, it's been a long time since that happened, and there's like explosions on sets all the time. Set safety is generally pretty good. But this was a cheap production. It was an Alec Baldwin fucking Western. Who was going to watch this? Who in the hell was actually going to watch this movie? John Ghost, thank you for the $50 donation. I appreciate it. Ian So Forth for 50 British pounds. We're all grateful that you found a way back, Gary, and more than that, thrived. Thank you. It's possible. I appreciate that. And that's, I wish I'd do it a little more, but that's what the whole point of AA. You know why we tell our stories? We tell our stories. It's not to brag. You go up and you share your experience, strength, and hope. The key one is at the end. So you tell your story. You tell how you got there. You tell what cleaned you up, and you tell people what you're doing now. And that helps the newcomer in the meeting who's been there for less than 30 days or was there for 24 hours, hasn't been sober for 12 hours. You show them that, no, there is a way. Life gets better. And then you'll hear your story. And you'll be amazed by what you see in there. You'll see a guy. One of the people I was inspired by the most early on. I was a young pup when I saw this guy. 20 years he spent in prison. Was a Black Panther. Killed somebody. Was all on drugs the whole time. Was able to turn his life around. After all of that, turn his life around. And become a force for good. That's, we don't want people to kill people at all. But there's got to be a path of redemption for some. His situation wasn't a cold-blooded murder, by the way. It was more of an accident. But he still did a lot of time for it. And he turned his life around. And I can't tell you how many stories there are. And we need that for the general public. Because right now we have a serious problem of ingratitude in this country. Thank you, Ian. So forth. I appreciate it. 5 Canadian pesos from Nuclear Winter Gamer says, I want to see more adventures of Peeping Tom. Can't wait to see the debut of his nemesis, the Gender Bender. If Az has time to work on it, I think he will do it. And him and Mahler, that's a great idea. It's a great idea. Hail the real BBC. Oops, wow. Don't want to hit the wrong one there. Patrice, 9/11. Anyone remember when John Kerry, who was in the Obama administration, met with Hollywood execs February 2016? Might explain a lot of the TDS. Patrice, you are correct. And yes, I remember. I might have to work on a video on this just because it would take a while. But it might be worth it. Check out Michael Keaton, and thank you, Patrice. I appreciate it. Check out Michael Keaton in the TV's miniseries Dopesick. Yeah, I've been meaning to see that on Hulu. Covers early years of opioid epidemic. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that. Thank you, Michael King, for the $4.99. Larry Herzog Jr. for $5. Alcoholic here that also struggles with opioids. I was 24 years sober and fell off hard. Lost my job last year while in rehab, still fighting. Keep up the fight, Larry. That happened to me. I was at the comic shop and I was hanging up, of all things, a Superman Returns banner because I put giant movie banners up on these high ceilings that I had just empty space on. And I was setting up a folding ladder. The folding ladder folded right on my thumb. And my thumb was that flat. Like, it crushed the shit out of my thumb. And I have broken bigger bones than this. I can't tell you. Like, the pain was all concentrated right there. It was blood was welling up. It was bad. They had to drill a hole in my nail, and the blood freaking came out. So I was sober at the time, and they offered me pain medication. Well, that sent me on my way. It wasn't the exact moment, but it was the flicker of the relapse. Later on, Got hooked on that medication again. Could have said no, said yes. See, with our disease of alcoholism, of addiction, there comes a conscious decision. That's the biggest difference. There's still personal responsibility that we have to take. We can't just say, it's a disease, I'm excused for everything. Nope. Doesn't fucking work like that. So I got hooked on that shit too. And then I went full bore. I'm like, well, I decided to like take up cocaine too. On top of that, I'm like, I never did cocaine back in the day. I'll do it now. And wow, my life got fucked quick. And yeah, the pharmaceutical companies, I think they're called the Sakin family. I can't remember their last name. There's a couple of families that got insanely rich. They were paying doctors to prescribe opiates. I repeat, they were incentivizing the prescription of opioids. That is a true fucking story. These fuckers are out. They're free. They're billionaires. In the meantime, homelessness has gotten twice as bad in the last 20 years because of that. And we're worried about the coof. There's something much more deadly going on. For one, you have a bunch of people on opioids, and we have a bunch of people in life going through it right now. And it says it right there in the bottle. It affects your judgment. And it certainly does. I know for a fact I was on them. I have all the sympathy in the world and empathy for somebody who's hooked on that. Trying to get off is hell. But you can get off. There's ways to do it. And life gets better afterwards. A lot fucking better. A lot. Gary, I hope the almond joys arrived. Oh, they did, Bama grad, for $10. We still have some in our freezer, by the way, for Dame Lady Nerdrotic. And she loves them. I am conflicted about the next Spider-Man movie. I really don't want I don't want of any of my money going to Disney. Any perspective from you? It's a Sony film. Sony gets most of the money. I think Disney gets a 5%. They also get some merchandise. So don't buy any merchandise. Or you can do what I do is I buy a ticket to another movie and sneak in. That's getting harder because Warner Brothers is just as bad. What I was referring to, I didn't finish my thought. So the blurred lines between Hollywood and Washington and the state, part of it is that Roddenberry Foundation thing that I've told you guys about, that paper that's going around that was done by a think tank, which is essentially, it's CRT. It's critical race theory applied into script writing. And you know who called this out? You know where I found it? Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert Meyer Burnett was calling this shit out. So I looked into it a little further, and there's more. There's so much more. So does it come directly from the state? Maybe. A lot of the language is the same, word for word. You know, it's very bad. It's very, 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 very bad when companies that should be in competition with each other are lockstep. Isn't that strange? That's like, could you imagine Coke being lockstep with Pepsi back in the day? But Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they might as well be business partners. They're not competitors. So it's very bad when Hollywood, which is the source of our storytelling and our information, is in lockstep with the state. And yes, it's been going on for years. There are two great videos by Razorfist about Hollywood, a lot of Hollywood being red for a long time, but not all of Hollywood is red, but a lot of people in power are. You know, it also sheds light on some stuff. It really does, that I may get into. It's kind of controversial because it's about Steven Spielberg, who was a childhood hero of mine. Not so much anymore. Brian Barlow, do you think that Modelo illness is being overpublicized because it is so profit-driven, i.e. mass tests, etc.? Yes. I don't think it's going out on a limb by saying this is profit-driven. I also think people are covering their butts. I also think it's a way to apply power. There's something I just explicitly am not allowed to bring up on this platform, but it certainly affected elections with mail-in ballots. Isn't it funny that you need a vax passport, but you don't need an ID to vote? Was in the hospital for over a month. They shoved pain pills down me for 3 days. I got home and I had a craving, freaked out and threw it away. Good. Project's done poorly for $5. You might have saved your life. You might have saved your life. Throw that shit away. You don't need it unless it's like horrible surgery. You can live through some pain. Okay. Get some ibuprofen. I go to the dentist. I don't take any of that shit. I just deal. Fucking hail Razor Fist. I love Razor. We got to get him on Friday Night Tights. We kind of messaged each other, but like he's a busy dude. I have a lot of respect for that guy. A lot of respect for that guy. He's a really good YouTuber. This Friday, we got Critical Drinker and Mauler for a Halloween show. It's going to be fun. Then Real BBC will be back on my channel next Tuesday. And I think we'll have an Arizona announcement within the next few days. Got to talk to Jeremy. But hang in there. We're going to do meetups. And I might do an impromptu one in Texas if I run out there to go buy a house. I'll let y'all know. Maybe me and Comics Division can like, I don't know, meet somebody in a bar or a coffee shop or a comic shop. I don't know. Whatever. The plan is for the channel is to not get much bigger than the crew I'm going to have. I do eventually want to get a building. I'm not going to do that right away. I'm going to wait a year. But I want to get a building where that will have a studio in it and a comic shop, a functioning, running comic shop with vintage toys and vintage comics. I don't think I'll be running it day to day. It'll be probably a situation where I'll hire a couple of employees to run it, and I'll be, overall I'll run everything, but I'll be doing this. This takes all the time, all my time. But that is the plan. To have a functioning, like, podcast studio, comic shop. And by the way, you'll be able to get your hair barbered there a couple days a week, too. That is the plan. So we're going to wrap stuff up. I'm just going to make sure I didn't leave any behind here. By the way, Brian Barlow, thank you for the $15. I don't think I said that. We got WG for $100 on the donation side, on the Streamlabs donation side. Thank you. Hail, Gary. While my thoughts regarding pineapple pizza are well documented here, when it comes to Halloween candy corn, I'd rather eat the boogers out of a dead man's nose. That said, great show, sir, and keep it up. Great work. Thank you. I love candy corn, and I love pineapple on pizza. And you know what? I will put pineapple on pizza with black olives and jalapenos. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to have tonight. I'm going to have a pineapple fucking jalapeno pizza from Pizza Time here in Escondido, California. So if you're in Escondido, California, and you want a good fucking pizza, Pizza Time. They're fucking awesome. I am shilling for some. They don't even know who I am, so. Raja for $3 says, I enjoyed Dune, but I'm a little confused on how the shields work. As I understand, fast attacks get blocked, but slow ones can penetrate. Why? That's a good question. Duke Leto is taken down by a projectile of some sort from the dock. The Atreides ships seem to be easily dealt with, and they're supposed to be a military organization. I think that's a flaw. I just think it's a flaw that you can slowly get through an energy shield. Then why have it? Then wear armor. Then wear fucking armor and have a shield. Yeah. I kind of dig how it's so futuristic that it's analog. Because I think if a society is going to thrive in the future, it will have to abandon AI because AI is bad. Mikey Gussler, what's up, Nerdrotic? Hope you are having a good week. Just wanted to let you know that I'm 5 weeks into my new job, and I'm really liking it a lot. Hope to meet you one day. Congratulations on the new job, Mikey. I hope to meet you too, buddy. That's fucking awesome. Thanks for the $5. I'm glad to hear you're working. And fucking release the haircut. That one's for you, Mikey. That one's for you, buddy. Okay, I got to wrap it. I'm going to work on a couple of videos. My wife is home, so that's nice to have Mrs. Nerdrotic home. I've been alone for a lot. My kids are in another state. The dogs are gone. It's just me and like a couple of lizards out front. That's about it. It was a beautiful day today. So fucking clear and gorgeous. It kills me to leave my home state, my hometown. But like liberty fucking matters. Freedom matters. And I'm not going to live somewhere where I'm mandated to get anything to go shop. You know, if I lived in San Francisco right now, I said this last one, I wouldn't be able to go to the gym. I wouldn't be able to shop. I wouldn't be able to go to a fucking AA meeting. Fuck that. If I thought there was a chance to fight, I don't think San Francisco's worth it. But yeah, looking forward to Texas. Maybe I'll get an accent someday. Very exciting. And we might have found a house. Oh, what was the issue? Flooding. A part of the garage got hit with the flood from the creek behind the place I'm looking at. I don't even think the most autistic 4chan guy could find what I'm talking about because there's a lot of creeks in Texas. But it flooded in a certain year, not too recently. So that's a bit of an issue. I can deal with anything else, but not with that. So hopefully we can work that out, and then we found the place, and it's rocking. It's got a studio ready to go practically. It's got like everything I need. I hope to announce this person soon, but we got to wait. And that's it. So X-Ray Girl's doing a great job. Perry Chan is doing a fucking great job. My friends are all killing it on YouTube. Ryan Kinnell's fucking making 90 videos a day. I love it. Az is back. He did Hot Toys today. Go check it out after this. I think they're done. They were done when I started. Hopefully they were done when I started. But yeah, I'm very happy for everyone. And Friday Night Tights is killing it. It's and thanks to you guys. I can't tell you how grateful I am that I had this as a gig because we'd be fucked. My entire family has been relying on this, and my mother relies on this. And I don't mention it enough. Through your super chats and donations, my mom is able to live pretty comfortably right now, where she wasn't before. So thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. Look out for a couple of videos. Thank you to the Modrotics. You're freaking saints. And, keep your eye on the prize. I hate to see fandom squabbling. I do. especially in our sphere. We can't afford it. We can't afford to be squabbling. We can't afford freaking gay ops. We can't afford any of this stuff. We've got enough on our plate. We've got enough opposition. We're taking on billion-dollar corporations. We're trying to get some of them to listen, just to fucking listen. And until they do, I would say, sit on your wallet. Don't spend any money. It's tough. And hopefully things change. But they're not going to change if we don't say anything. They're not going to, and it's a we. I have no power. I have zero power. The power is in that chat right there. Is you. You have the power. Hi, Gary's mom from Quatrina Senpai for $1.09. She has never watched a single. She doesn't even know how to turn on a computer. But I'll tell her you said hi. I'll tell her you said hi. All right, you guys are great. Please enjoy some credit. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, please. Instagram.com/Nerdrotic. We're trying to get to 10,000. Make Lady Nerdrotic happy. Oh, let's see if somebody's streaming. Let's see if somebody's streaming. Oh. Is somebody going to start? I'd say Viva Frey. I mean, Timcast, he doesn't need any. Oh, Sporking. Sporking. I don't even know why I'm doing this for Sporking, but go check out Sporking, The Dump. So it's Sporking News Podcast. Here.
Yeah, exactly.
You can hear him
He's
right
all right,
now.
I guess.
Let's see how long. They've been going for about an hour. So here, I'll put the link. There you go. There's Sporking. Go rate him. It blows mine. All right, check. I don't know why that froze.